What's happening, everybody? It's Sean with reactions to the classics. And today, I continue my journey through Bruce Springsteen's album discography as I rank every single song from worst to best on his second album, The Wild, the Innocent, and the E Street Shuffle. Came out in November of 1973. So I'm going to take a journey through all his albums. I'm going to rank the songs on every single one of them. At the end of it, I'm going to rank his entire discography, and I won't make a video of all of it. I'm going to rank every one of his songs from worst to best. I'll probably make a video with maybe the top 50 on there. I don't know, but Bruce is my all-time favorite solo artist. Just love him to death. But I don't know this album real well. We do have a full album reaction to this up. We have tons of Springsteen videos up. Now, unlike his previous album, it came out just 8 months before Greetings from Asbury Park, his debut. About half of that album had that incarnation of the E Street Band, not the one that we really know. And half of it just was him alone. This one has the band on all of it. No press or anything for this album, because the two guys that signed him to the record label, John Hammond, who signed him, and Clive Davis, who was the head of the record label, had left. His first album didn't do well, so no one was really on the Springsteen train at Columbia Records. Much more rock infused in his debut, which was more folk sound. There's rock and folk, and a lot of people said, oh, he's trying to be a Dylan ripoff. So Bruce went the opposite direction. He didn't want those comparisons, so he went way more rock. However, unfortunately, it had the same thing in common as Greetings from Asbury Park. Critics loved it, didn't sell well at all, which is going to set up Born to Run to be a make or break for Bruce, but that's for the next video. So this only has 8 songs on it. So this only has 7 songs on it, a lot of longer songs. So I'm going to rank them from 7 to 1, 7 being the worst. So the worst song on here, and I think it's just not a good song at all, and I don't say that about very many of Bruce's songs. Wild Billy's Circus Story. Although Tom Waits, a guy that we love around this channel and have a ton of Waits of, he once said this was his favorite Bruce song. Now, I don't know when he said that. I couldn't find the date attributed to it, but it makes sense because this is like a Waits type of epic storytelling. In this song, he's paying tribute to the Clyde Cole Brothers Circus. It used to come to his whole hometown, of course, Freehold, New Jersey, in the summers when he was growing up. It just doesn't work for me. Arrangement-wise, it just doesn't work. Next up, we're going to have a 7-minute song. Kitty. Their leader knows Kitty left him for another guy. So it's written from these other guys' perspective. They see their leader around, his gang leader, friend leader, whatever, man. And Kitty left him for these other guys. And they see her out with all these other guys. Yet they know their leader is going to go back to her no matter what. Their leader knows that she's messing around. He doesn't care because he just can't help it. And many of us have been in those situations with relationships. And so these guys got to just sit back and watch it because they can't do anything about it. You got an organ, you got a tuba, you got a Hammond organ. This album's very rich instrumentally, as Bruce has always went against the grain, especially with Clarence's sax, right? But he's gone against the grain from early on, implementing all kinds of stuff into rock albums. Next up, the E Street Shuffle. It starts this album off. Now I listened to this album twice, right? Besides, doing reviews and stuff of it a long time ago. First time through, I couldn't stand it. Second time through, it was better. I listened to it the first time casually. The second time I read the lyrics, really do a concentration on it. Just a really interesting way to start an album. It has a clavinet, a comment, 3 saxes, including Clarence's. It's a party song, so you can get the fun to it. I'm sure this song is fun in person, but it's not that great. It's not that great on the album, and an interesting way to start it, like I said. So those first 3, or worst 3, however you want to look at it, I think they're really bad. I mean, they're bottom of catalog for Bruce for me. Next up, I got New York City Serenade. Almost 10 minutes long. It finishes the album. Epic songwriting about characters, obviously, in, New York City. So I did enjoy it. It's a little bit of a middle of the road, maybe a little bit better than middle of the road for Bruce, but it was pretty good. Next up, the song that I would imagine a lot of people are going to have number 1, Rosalita, or Come Out Tonight. Another one over 7 minutes long. Story of forbidden love between Rosalita and Bruce, the rocker. The dad is not down for it. Ain't no dad wants their kid to go marry a rocker unless he's already made, right? No musician. The musician's life, not exactly glamorous and gone all the time. So he kind of talks all of that out in here. A great sing-along song up and through 1985. This is how he ended almost every concert. So I can see everybody just getting into it. On the album, it works fine. It's a good song. Not a great song for me. Next up, a song that I had even with this pretty much. I just had to pick one to put at number 2. So I put 4th of July, Asbury Park, also known just as Sandy. A ballad. In some parts of it, he's almost whispering. One of the interesting things, one of the major instruments in here is Danny Federici's accordion, which you don't see a lot, but it's featured on a few of these songs. Set on, as the title suggests, the 4th of July in Asbury Park, New Jersey. Dedicated to Sandy and describing the depressing atmosphere that threatens to jeopardize the love between Bruce and Sandy, because there's all these characters that come in here, and the place itself is dragging you down. There's all these dangers to it. So I thought it was a really good song. And then, drum roll, please. I mean, if you know this album, you know what's left, right? There's only 7 songs. Incident on 57th Street. This song is fantastic. This song might be in the upper echelon or right next to the upper echelon of Bruce songs that I know. It's absolutely fantastic. It is the first indication of where Bruce can really, really go songwriting-wise. Now, I thought on Greetings from Asbury, Lost in the Flood was actually not on this level, but it was showing the way. But this song really shows the way. The songwriting is just so good. Some people see it as a precursor to Jungleland, which is the epic closer on the next album, Born to Run, which I'll have up next in these rankings. According to Springsteen, the theme is, quote, redemption. So the story is set in New York City, right? We got Spanish Johnny and Puerto Rican Jane. It has parallels to, of course, West Side Story in telling a Romeo and Juliet-like story with Latin American characters, right? Johnny's explicitly referred to as a cool Romeo, and Jane is a late Juliet. Now, very similar almost to some themes in Jungleland here. Again, at the end, Johnny's friend calls him to make some easy money. She tells him not to go. Then she finally says, you can go now, but make sure you come back to me. Don't be gone forever. And he says, oh, I'll be back. Don't worry about it. But the song ends, and we don't know if he ever made it. But if you don't want to listen to this album, and you've never have listened to this album, if you want to just pull out one song in the Spotify and Apple Music of our world, this is it, Incident on 57th Street. My number 1 song from Greetings from Asbury Park. I'm not high on this album after further listening to it a few times. It's going to end up, I know, towards the bottom of my discography when I go through and finish this journey, which will take a while. If you know, Springsteen has a ton of studio albums. So next up is going to be Born to Run. I am super excited to do that one. Let me know what you thought of my rankings down below. How would you have done it differently? Was I right? I can take it, man. If you think Rosalita should be number 1, I get it, man. So if you haven't already, give us a thumbs up. Hit that big red subscribe button. Check out the playlist below. We've got a lot of Springsteen up on the channel, and there'll be a separate one for the Springsteen discography that I'll keep adding to as I go through this journey. Until next time, guys, I will see you.